Hi, and welcome to Qralloqian lore, a secret tip and trick to using gamers plane. When you create a game, you have the ability to create threads using this new thread button. This creates threads that are stacked in basically the order you create them, I believe, and that if you had a whole bunch of threads, they would just be a big list of them. But sometimes you want to organize things. For example, maybe you want to keep your background details apart from those. So in this game, I've created a subforum where there are one background thread for each player. Now, how did I do that? Well, if I go to the administrative control panel, which is something that the GM can see, if I click that, right at the beginning is the ability to create a new subforum. So I could create a test for GXP, for example. If I add that, then there you go. It's listed. I could even reorder them. Maybe I want to put it first. So there I swapped the orders twice, so they're in the same order I started with. But you can see that now this new subform is there, and I could create a new thread. There is I'll also show you how you can manage that. So in this, you can see that we can edit these things. So I could change this to secret test and update it. Now, if I go back, the thing is now called secret test. Okay, now the additional feature that you can use is that sometimes when you create a game, you want the players to be able to hide things from each other. Maybe you just want a thread for one-on-one discussion with the other players or with one player that the other players cannot see. So how do you do that? Well, you could do it in a note, a private note just to that player. But then the other players get notifications every time you post. And then they look and they see that there's this, a secret note, curses. But the other thing you could do is you can't do it on the thread level. Each subforum can have separate permissions on who can view it. So by default, anybody who joins the game has wide open permissions. So you can change the permissions for a forum to block players. So if you go to, make sure you click on the name, and you go to this permissions tab, and you can see that each user and the GM are created. So if I want to block Qralloqian, because I like to pick on him, so I create a permission for him, then I edited it, I can set read to no and save it. Okay, now if I go back to the details, secret test, see what. Okay, so now I've created this forum where I've blocked one of my favorite players. Why do people leave games? Okay, so you see that I can see it. I'm the GM. Theoretically, Bola, Spanish, Machiavelli, and Windy Ridge can all see that. But Qralloqian will not be able to see that forum. And so you could create, instead of creating background details where every thread is within a subforum, create separate subforums and then set the permissions to block the new block the people that you do not want to be able to see those ones. User Drama Sailor has at one time indicated that if you create a group permission for everybody, block everybody from being able to see stuff, then you give everybody the permissions to see what you want them to see. So rather than so you do it backwards. So you basically nobody can see anything, and then you enable people to see things when you want them to do so. Now, this is important when a new player joins the game because they start off with no permissions, no specific permissions for them. So if you're blocking users from seeing in the same way that I did for Runecondig, that you'll have to add a permission to every forum or subforum that you want to block the new user from. This is Qralloq and Qralloqian lore.